The Lightfall expansion has obviously added a lot of cool features to the game, including strand, armor changes, and more. And even though I really enjoy the strand subclass on the Hunter, I wanted to go over a build involving the Caliban's Hand exotic gauntlets, pairing that with the solar subclass and also taking advantage of the seasonal artifact perks this season. And this will allow us to cause a lot of explosions. So like I mentioned, the exotic we're going to be talking about is the Caliban's Hand. These are exotic gauntlets for the Hunter. Its perk, Roast them. Your proximity knife scorches targets it damages with its explosions or ignites targets on final blow. After throwing a proximity knife, you gain increased melee regeneration when the knife explodes. So essentially the knife does a couple of things. First off, if you just hit a target with it, it'll scorch them, which again, scorching is that damage over time effect. Or if you kill the target with a throwing knife, they will actually ignite and explode. So that's pretty freaking cool. And also, if you didn't know, ignitions can actually stun unstoppable champions now. So that's fun. And then the third thing is that if you miss the throwing knife and it just sticks to a wall or sticks to the ground, if nothing walks on it, nothing goes near it, it does not explode, you will get an increased melee regeneration speed. On the artifact, we want to take advantage of a couple of things on here. So first up would be authorized mods solar and then authorized mods grenades. So any energy armor cost that affects any solar weapons or our grenades will be significantly reduced, pretty much making those mods only cost 1, which is going to be really good. Next up is Solar Surge. Collecting a fire sprite gives you an armor charge. If you don't know, armor charge is the new way of getting charged with light, getting more weapon damage, faster, intellect cooldown, bunch of other stuff, but that is a new way that we can take advantage of the new armor mod changes. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will cover it in the synergy portion of this video. Next up, we want to take advantage of Flare Up. Firebolt grenades apply more scorch stacks. Damaging a combatant with a firebolt grenade spawns a fire sprite near them. And then lastly, Rain of Firebolts. When you have firebolt grenades equipped, you gain a second grenade charge. So now we get 2 of those bad boys. Now under the solar subclass, we're going to take advantage of a couple of things here. So first up for the super, you can honestly use what you want. I just like Blade Barrage, whether I need to take out a bunch of ads or just strictly focus on boss DPS. Either one works. If you want to go with any of the golden guns, totally go for it. The super does not matter here. For our abilities, I'm going with Gambler's Dodge, so when I dodge near an enemy, I can get my melee back. Again, this is going to be kind of a just-in-case thing, which I will explain later. For movement ability, I'm going with Triple Jump. You can use just about anything that you'd like. For the knife, we obviously have to go with the Proximity Explosive Knife. Again, throw a knife that attaches to surfaces upon impact and explodes when it detects nearby targets, or if you just throw it right at a target, it will blow up. So keep that in mind. For a grenade, we're obviously going to be taking advantage of the Firebolt grenade with the artifact. So a grenade that unleashes bolts of damaging solar light at nearby targets and slightly scorches them. And again, this does apply Scorch and can cause ignitions when enough Scorch stacks are applied. For our aspects, first up, we have Knock 'em Down. Again, your solar supers are enhanced. The Deadshot Golden Gun has damage resistance, Marksman Golden Gun has increased duration, and the Blade Barrage launches more projectiles. So again, if we are going Blade Barrage, which I plan on doing, we're going to get more knives to throw, which is going to be really good. Now, the second part of the perks, really important for this build. While Radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. So again, you can have that melee over and over again, which is going to be really good. Then the other one we have here is On Your Mark. Precision final blows grant you and nearby allies increased weapon handling and reload speed for a short duration. This can stack up to 3 times. Or if you just activate your class ability immediately, it will grant you maximum stacks of On Your Mark. So when you dodge, you get ×3 on your mark, just like that. Now for our fragments here, these are just the ones I use. I'm going to talk about a couple of substitutes that you can use here, but I found this to be very effective and fun. So the first one we have here is Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. You get a -10 to discipline. Radiant pretty much gives you increased damage with your weapons and can also stun anti-barrier champions, which is really good. So now we take care of 2 champions right there just with this solar subclass. Next up, we have Ember of Mercy. Again, when you revive an ally, you and other nearby allies gain restoration. That's not the main thing here. The main thing is when you pick up a fire sprite, grants you restoration, and you get a +10 to resilience here. If you don't know what restoration is, essentially you regenerate health and shields over time and it cannot be interrupted. And also this creates a fire sprite, which like I mentioned with the artifact perk, again, when you pick up a fire sprite, it's going to give us an armor charge there. So we're going to take advantage of this one for survivability. Next up is Ember of Blistering. Defeating targets with solar ignitions grants grenade energy. So again, every time we ignite targets, we'll get those firebolt grenades back faster. Next up, Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. So any target that is scorched or blows up or whatever, we will be able to get our dodge back faster. And then lastly here, I have Ember of Char. Your solar ignition spreads scorch to affected targets, and then we get +10 to discipline. So anytime an ignition goes off, it scorches all the targets around it. which is really, really good. Now, like I said, there are a couple of substitutions in here that you can take advantage of. Now, personally, you have to have Ember of Torches on for this build, and also Ember of Mercy. These two, at least, you want to take advantage of. I really like Ember of Blistering to get that grenade back, but Ember of Singeing and Ember of Char, you can switch out for a couple different ones. First one being Ember of Empyrean. Again, solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. So again, now the health back and the extra damage that you get can pretty much last longer as long as you're consecutively getting kills. Now, the other one I would talk about here is Ember of Wonder. Rapidly defeating multiple targets with solar ignitions generates an orb of power, and you get a +10 to resilience. So again, if we're going to be causing a lot of ignitions anyway, and we could kill multiple targets, we might as well create an orb of power for us and our team. And the last one I look into is Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to targets. Again, that's mostly for the firebolt grenade, but again, like I said, there are a multitude of options here with the fragments. These are just the ones that I like. Find something that works for you. Next, let's go over the armor mods that I'm using. So first up here on the helmet, I have Hands On, gain bonus super energy on melee kills, and then Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Then lastly, Solar Siphon, rapid solar weapon final blows, create an orb of power. On our gauntlets here, I have Impact Induction, causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. Then I have Firepower, your grenade final blows create orbs of power, and then Heavy Handed. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power. On our chest armor, I have 1 charged up, increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry. Baseline, you can carry 3 armor charges, but with 1 other charged up, it now increases to 4. And then I'm rocking 2 solar reserves, increases the amount of ammo you can carry for solar weapons. For our boots, I'm rocking double solar weapon surge. Your solar weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time. So now every armor charge we have is going to basically only stay for 10 seconds baseline. And so if we have, 3 armor charges, for example, this could stay up for 30 seconds, and also multiple mod stacks. So now our solar weapons are going to be doing more damage overall. And then I also have Innervation here. Reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. Lastly, on the class item here, I'm rocking Double Bomber. Reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability, and then Time Dilation. Your decaying armor charge has a longer duration. So the 10 seconds that I mentioned, with 1 Time Dilation, that actually goes up to 15 seconds. So now if you have 3 armor charges, you just went from 30 seconds to 45 seconds for how long you can hold on to those armor charges. Now the stats you should focus on, number 1, resilience here. We talk about this every video. Try to have tier 10 resilience just in general all the time for PvE activities. It'll give you a damage reduction of 30%. It's going to be really good. And the second one I focus on is Discipline. Discipline is tied to your grenade stat, and we want that grenade back as quickly as possible. So having tier 10 Discipline is good. If you can't hit tier 10, that's totally fine, but try to focus on resilience and discipline. Now for weapon options, the main thing to focus on is going to be your energy and your heavy slot, taking advantage of solar weapons for the solar weapon surge, so you get more damage out of those when you have armor charges, and then also solar reserves. So again, any of those solar weapons will have more ammunition. So for your kinetic, again, you can use whatever you want, honestly, but for your energy and heavy, you definitely want to take advantage of solar weapons. Callus Mini Tool here, Cartesian Coordinate. In the heavy, I have Cataclysmic, Gallahorn. Anything will really work here. But the one thing that I would recommend looking into is finding a weapon with the perk Incandescent. Again, defeating a target spreads Scorch to nearby targets, and then more powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. So again, scorching targets will be very helpful here and will allow you to take advantage of some of the things on the solar subclass. Now it's time to dive into the synergy and how this build exactly works. So I'm going to try and explain to the best of my ability, but essentially, once you throw that throwing knife, it's game. Explosions, you'll get that knife back again, throw it again, get a kill, more explosions. That's how this is going to work. So let's just say you walk right into an engagement, you throw that throwing knife at a target, and it kills the target. Again, the main thing here is you want to kill that target. What exactly is going to happen? So again, that's going to cause an ignition with the proximity knife because of Caliban's hand. With all of our fragments here, with Ember of Torches, for example, that power melee is going to make you radiant. And the cool thing with knock 'em down on that aspect, like I said, while you're radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife are fully refunded. So once you get that first initial kill to cause that ignition, you get that knife again. You get it right back because of knock 'em down, which is absolutely nuts. That's going to kick in Ember of Blistering. Defeating targets with the solar ignitions are going to give you even more grenade energy for that firebolt grenade. With Ember of Singeing, you'll get that class ability back faster, aka your Gambler's Dodge. And then lastly, Ember of Char. Anytime you cause those ignitions, it's going to spread Scorch to those targets. So again, that'll allow for another opportunity to ignite those targets, or just get them weak, so then you can throw that throwing knife again. So If for some reason the throwing knife does not kill a target and they do not explode, they do not ignite, and you do not get the knife back, that's why we have the gambler's dodge. So you can dodge near a target, get that knife back, and you can continue the chain of just exploding stuff, okay? So with that knife, that's fantastic. What about the firebolt grenades, David? We have 2 firebolt grenades here. How do we take advantage of those? So when you throw the firebolt grenades, you get a kill, that fire sprite's going to pop up, right? So every time you pick up a fire sprite, you're going to get restoration and an armor charge. Now, like I said, with armor charges, a bunch of things are going to kick in and happen, right? Solar weapon surge is going to kick in for 15 seconds because of time dilation, allowing for your solar weapons to have increased damage. So that's going to be very fun. Every time you get a kill with your melee or your grenade, heavy-handed and firepower is going to kick in, allowing for an orb of power to spawn from those. Now, every time you get kills or just hits with that knife, impact induction is going to kick in, giving you even a faster cooldown for that firebolt grenade. On the helmet again, ashes to assets and hands-on. Anytime you get kills with grenades and melees, that's an increased super cooldown. With solar siphon, as long as you rapidly kill targets with the solar weapon, that's going to create another orb of power. And again, every time you pick up an orb of power, innervation is going to kick in, giving you even more grenade energy. And then every time you dodge with bomber, you're going to get that grenade back even faster. Essentially, the whole thing here, like I said, is you throw that knife, you're going to cause a bunch of explosions. That's going to give you your grenade back even more. You can start throwing that grenade. Again, this is essentially ability spam solar for the hunter, just with Caliban's hand specifically. And like I said, you could change out some of the fragments, whether you wanted, you know, Ember of Empyrean or any of those others. Essentially, the whole thing here is ability spam, causing explosions, getting restoration, getting radiant, being able to stun, you know, anti-barrier champions with radiant, and unstoppable champions with ignition. There's a lot of playability with this and causing a lot of explosions. Now, I will warn you, the possibility of you accidentally killing yourself is possible just because of the initial explosion from the knife. So again, make sure you're standing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you take advantage of this Caliban's hand constant ignitions build. Obviously, Caliban's hand and Young Ahamkara Sprite are very fun to use on the solar subclass right now. And like I said, you can change a couple things with this build. Honestly, I'm not the end-all be-all when it comes to build videos. You could really take advantage of a lot of other things on this build if you wanted to spec into grenades more, getting those grenades back faster. Again, there's a bunch of ways to do that. So again, if you like the build, let me know. If you think there's any changes I can make, let me know. Again, I'm always going to be testing stuff out with this game. So again, just drop those in the comments of the video. If you guys like what you saw, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on the bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another build video here on the channel. If you didn't know, we actually stream here on YouTube 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Friday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. We changed from Thursday to Wednesday just because of some work things I have to take care of. But we are mainly going to be playing Destiny 2. We're going to be doing Root of Nightmares carries, dungeon carries, and help, and just playing PvP together. So if you want in on all that action, again, just join in the live stream whenever we're live and say, hey, can I join? I'll say absolutely. If you want to be proactive, join my Discord. That's where we're all going to be chatting at. We're going to be talking about Destiny 2, other games, PC tech, anime, and like I said, a lot of other topics in there. Lastly, if you didn't know, we actually got a YouTube partner here on the channel, which has just been freaking awesome. It's given us a lot of opportunities. One of those things being memberships. Again, if you don't know what a membership is, it is essentially like a Twitch subscription. Again, it's going to give you access to the exclusive emotes, the monthly badges, and a bunch of other cool things here on the channel. So if you do want to take advantage of that, all you have to do is press the join button next to subscribe, and it'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.